Ang susunod na programa ay rated PG. Patnubay at gabay ng magulang ay kailangan sa mga batang manonood.
Ngayong gabi, Halle Berry, Sylvester Stallone, Charlize Theron. Ilan lang sila sa mga bigating pangalan sa Hollywood na naturuan at personal nang nagabayan ng world-renowned acting coach na si Ivana Chubbuck. Ang Chubbuck acting technique ay pinakilala ni Ivana sa kanyang best-selling book na The Power of the Actor, na ngayon ay nilalathala na sa iba't ibang lengguwahe at ginagamit na gabay ng actors mula sa iba't ibang kontinente.
Magandang gabi, Pilipinas. Welcome to The Bottomline. Our guest tonight is one of the best acting teachers in the world. It is my honor to say her name, Ivana Chubbuck. Welcome to The Bottomline again.
Yes, my pleasure. Always a pleasure to talk to my friend.
Ivana, just before we started the show, you know, when directors say, quiet, we're about to start, that's when uncertainty happens to many actors. What do you usually tell actors when they say, my biggest weakness are nerves?
Nerves can be crippling or they can be helpful. Nerves give you adrenaline, but if it's in a crippling place, it stops you and it freezes you. So what you have to do is accept them, embrace them, say, I'm nervous, I should be nervous, I feel like people are judging me, I feel scared, I feel that I'm not going to be able to perform.
It's an inner monologue.
It's an inner monologue of acceptance and embracing. So I always tell actors, like, accept the nerves and then do the work and let the work be the ballast for you to be able to hang on to. Because the nerves are a good thing. It makes you do more, makes you feel like you have to fight for something more. And then the work is there's a thing called moment before in the system. There's 12 steps. And one of the steps is what takes place before that you actually create a truth and a reality that you're coming from a real place. So that place walks you into whatever environment the script is putting you into. And it has to be a dire circumstance so that it makes you really want whatever the objective of that scene is. So, for example, if the scene is about someone breaking up with you, and your moment before is you just won the lottery. So you make a moment before that creates dire circumstances so that you really need that objective. So let's go back to that same kind of point of view, which is someone's breaking up with you. You make your moment before, one of your biggest fears is that you're going to be fired from your job. So you make, what if that actually happens? You kind of live it out the way you perceive it would happen. So you've just been fired from your job, you walk into your home, you find out your mate is breaking up with you, and it becomes, it's too much. I can't deal with it. I have to keep you in my life because I can't have so much loss and abandonment. And so it drives you into something that takes away the thing, am I performing? What's going on? And it gives you kind of like this focus. I always say, put your blinders on and go after your objective based in your personalizations that make it really, really important for you to accomplish today, you know, and now. Urgently, time-sensitively.
Okay, I want to pursue that. So I can't take more loss or pain for the day. So my objective is I have to win you. Back. Yes. And the problem, because I'm a non-actor, is that there are two levels. I have a role to play, and I am a human being playing the role. So how does that winning happen? In the Chubbuck technique?
Well, it's a choice that every human being makes. Just let's talk about life, because all we're doing in acting is recreating life. Okay. We're not portraying a character, we're embodying a character, we're becoming the character. Because I like to use this as an example. Like, do you like being lied to?
No.
Okay, nobody does. So if I play a character, I'm lying to you. I'm saying I'm not really this character. I'm playing a character, and we're offended by it. We're put off by a lie. So if you're saying I'm not really this character, I'm just playing this character, we are put off. So we have to find a way to embody it. To even like you play a killer, you have to figure out why it's a righteous thing in your world to kill somebody. So, for example, if someone were to rape your child, that person would deserve to die. So then all of a sudden you have a righteous need to kill that person. So finding the purpose that comes from within your range of need through your personalizations of things that you're dealing with in today's world, so it's raw, gritty, and now. So there's no lie to that because you're trying to solve something within the script, somebody else's words, need to solve something in your personal life and for the character that embodies the role to be able to be in it. And so when you're trying to talk about back to being a winner, it's a choice. I could take information, but let's take the same person who got fired and is losing their mate. You can self-destruct with that. Or you can make the choice to say, this is something I can learn from. This is something I can use as fuel to overcome with. Because it's a very powerful fuel, pain. So it's a choice that you make. It's like, maybe this person who's leaving me, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe this is a toxic relationship, and maybe ultimately that job that I lost was one that if I hadn't lost that job, then I wouldn't be able to be open to the job I really wanted. And so it's about actually finding a way to spin that information.
Is there a right choice, Ivana? I'm sorry. If I take the first choice...
It's not a right or wrong situation. There's no right or wrong in art. There's effective and less effective.
Less effective, yes.
Yeah.
But in a situation where, as an actor, I choose the first choice, which in real life could happen.
Oh, and does most of the time.
Most of the time.
But the thing is, I don't want to see on the screen or on stage, I don't want to see losers. I don't need to see that. I just look at a mirror if I want to see a loser. You know, it's like, because humanity makes 90% of the population will go to self-destructive, defeated, end results of those kind of information.
But then the losers happen in real life.
Yeah, but that's something we're trying to do in theater. We're trying to make people as hopeful, but it's our obligation as artists. As what you do is you bring out the best in that person so that they can, the audience who's listening to the interview that you're giving, is they say, I could get something out of this. That's your obligation as an artist. You're an artist. You're not just like a normal, talk show guy, because that's what I love about you so much, is because you inspire me to think. You inspire your audience to think and to also grow and change and say, let me take this on and think about this. Let's go back to the winner. I want to see somebody who's doing something I'm not sure I know how to do, but I'm watching a character on again, screen or stage, taking the same information I self-destruct with, but that person is using it to fuel a choice to use that same information to overcome and win with. Well, if that person, that character, can do that, and because remember, we're embodying the character, so that we don't feel it's a character, we feel as an audience it's a real person. If that person can do that with the same information I'm going through, then maybe so can I. It gives people the ability to feel hopeful that they can be winners. There's a lot of, most acting techniques are about, just really bringing the truth. But the truth is not enough. We have an obligation to our audience to make them feel that they can make their dreams come true, that they can change their circumstances and be empowered to do so.
In a situation where there are winners, I just want to push it a little bit so that
a winner is not someone who wins. A winner is someone who tries to win.
That makes a difference. Winners are people who try
to win.
Well, a loser is
A loser is somebody that accepts information that is debilitating, naysayers, people that put you down, say you can't do this, you're not good enough, pretty enough, smart enough, whatever, and they accept that. That's a loser.
Can you win as an actor even if you're playing a loser? Can you win as an actor even if you're playing a loser?
Well, that Rocky is an example.
Yeah,
He lost,
yeah.
you know. So it's the winning. It's what you do. It's how you try to affect change or allow things to just happen to you.
Okay. Did you always want to be who you are today?
Someone very smart once told me a long time ago, let life happen because you don't really know what your gift is. Not me personally, I'm just saying the universal you. What your gift is, you have to allow things to happen. It's like, oh, wait, that's just something that I really like doing and I'm really good at it. And just stop trying to plan, because plans will get you into places that aren't necessarily where you're supposed to be.
Okay.
Being open to whatever God, life, the powers, whatever you believe in, is set about for you, and finding what your gift is, and then exploring further how to make your gift be something that gives you passion and a sense of, like, I want to be alive. It gives you hope and challenge.
Yeah, but in your career and in your life...
I know? No, I was like, a long time ago, I was like, I'm going to be an actress, and that's just all there is to it.
That's
this
right.
teaching thing is like, that's for people who can't do. You know,
So
it's
how's
like,
life as an actor?
I found that when I was acting, the time would go by so slow. When I was on set, it would be like looking at my watch, like constantly going, God, it's like it seems like a minute would seem like an hour, you know. But then when I would teach, just initially the teaching was just like helping friends out, you know. That's what actors do; they help each other out. And I found the time would, you know, it's like went by so fast. So I realized time's like Einstein says, it's relative,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So my version of that is, if you are interested and passionate and love something, it goes by really fast. If you don't love it, it goes by really slow.
Drags.
It drags. I determined that it was like, I really liked the teaching part so much. And I also always loved writing. Now, writing is a very interesting thing, because initially, and I've never told this story before, so you get this out of me every time. I always tell stories I never told. But anyway, I was such an abused kid, so much so that it was verbal and physical, that I felt that anything I had to say was too stupid, and everybody was predisposed to hate me. So the only way that I could make people, like, just to have any kind of version of a relationship, because I couldn't utter a word. I would literally, I'd have to do a countdown to say hello. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hello. It was the only way I could get hello out, and that's as far as it went. But I would write funny stories and funny poems, and people would laugh, because I would pass them along, because I was like I was mute. But I would pass them along, and they'd say, "Oh, you're really funny." Like, thank you, you know. Okay. But so writing became a thing that helped me actually communicate in a way that I had no way to communicate, because I was so damaged by childhood issues.
How'd you get into acting?
I joined when I was 13. I joined a theater group. And I was a part of that theater group, and so, because it was the only way that if I spoke somebody else's words, I could actually speak. It allowed me to actually have a voice, because even though they weren't my words, I had a voice to somebody's words, so I was able to actually talk to people. Yeah.
Were you using a technique when you were an actor?
Well, back when I was 13, no.
No.
But when I moved to LA, yeah, I took lots of acting classes, and all of them, of which I thought, I'm going to be a bear now? I don't understand being a bear. I don't understand. It was like those kinds of things where these exercises were trust exercises. Like, what do I do with that? What do I do with the repetition? It's like, you say this, and I say this back. So This didn't compute in my head because I've always been like had math head. I was one of those math honors students, you know. Everything to me boils down to some version of math. And, you know, because you know the book, everything has like, it's 12 steps.
Right.
In the book, everything is like patterned out so that you can get there in a way that you really feel like drunk organically or high organically or feel pregnant organically, like you really feel
so
it.
you got this from your experience as a student. I mean,
as a math head. And so the thing is like, so the idea is like finding math to human behavior, which in school, when I was at university, I took behavioral science, anthropology, and psychology. But the behavioral science class I took, remember a class I took in, it was breaking down human behavior into mathematical equations. And it was my favorite class ever. Because I thought, this is really cool, but what am I ever going to do with this? Ta-da! I created like equations and math out of all these behavioral things, you know. So that's made sense to me, and that's where my technique was born from. I couldn't make sense of the ones that I was studying, and I did try so many. And it's like, and method acting, for example, is like going back in time and trying to recreate something that you no longer care about. And in fact, the truth of the matter is that most things that are tragic from 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years, you look back on and you go, thank God it happened the way it did, because I wouldn't be in this place right now.
Right.
Where I'm open to all this good stuff that's happening.
Take me back to the first days, the first years. Take me back to the first students. Take me back to the first moments when you started to dabble in teaching, even before you got into that formal space of being a coach or a teacher. Take me back to the first days, the first years. Take me back to the first students. Take me back to the first moments when you started to dabble, you know, in teaching, even before you got into that formal space of being a coach or a teacher. Interesting.
It would just be like being on set and like, you know, saying, here's some notes, and say, can I come to your house, and like, can we go over this? And then people were making appointments to come to my house, and I said, well, I should start charging for this. I'm not doing this for free.
No, but that's exactly when you say you allow the universe, you know, to make the arrangements, you know.
Exactly.
Wow, fantastic. No, I just wanted to get a little background, because some people would say, we know Ivana Chubbuck, but what is her story? You know?
Yeah, what is my story indeed? I'm still working that out, because there's so many more chapters to come.
So many more chapters.
Exactly.
So, and we look forward to those chapters.
Yeah.
But that's the most beautiful thing about a technique. And I know I started about the winning. It's about having hope. It's about being a better human being, actually. When, you know, as a non-actor, when I read the Power of the Actor, it's, you know, I figured out, hey, this has something to do with me as a person. I mean, I would read the situations. I would read the rules. And there is a connection to the book.
Well, it should probably be called The Power of the Being Human.
Yeah.
And as opposed to the actor. But because people are taking it in a lot of countries, and it's become a bestseller for people who aren't in the industry at all, for just because it's a way to think about life differently. And I think that all things can be spun into either being, this is the most negative thing that ever happened to me, or this is the most positive thing that ever happened to me. But you can take anything and you can spin it into being the worst or the best. And that's one of the things that the winner spirit is, trying to take the worst of circumstances and figure out like how to see this as a win.
That's the power.
That's the power. That's the power of thought process.
The book is now being translated into Chinese, Japanese, and other languages.
Well, so many languages, and Chinese. The Chinese one just came out in November. It's coming out in Mandarin Chinese for Taiwan in January. And it's going to be coming out in Indonesian. One of my accredited teachers, Sun Mawati, was trying to change. He's a producer and a director, and he said in the Asian community, he wanted to upgrade the quality from his point of view of being a producer and having a fairly large production company. So he wants to create schools like in Vietnam and Indonesia, Singapore, and lots of places like that. And me and Direct Ryan are trying to make the Philippine version come out. And my thought is to have the cover be of the colors of the flag, because that's what they did in Brazil, and it's beautiful. Okay. And it's the patriotism of the country, attaching itself to the power of the human being, the power of the actor.
Is this your legacy?
I hope so.
If you were to write your epitaph, how would that go?
I would say that I'm a girl in search of a happy ending.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah, and also
that's really powerful.
It's a play on words too. Like things are a little clever too.
Yeah, but I like the word search, for example, because I think you and I and everybody eavesdropping on this conversation, we're all searching, and we keep on searching.
But never stop searching.
No,
never stop. It's like I say, if you take the bar. Meet the bar, raise the bar, meet the bar, raise the bar.
Right.
And I always say, like, it's not going to stop until I die, and even then I'm going to try to figure out a way.
Let me talk about the teachers, because the Chubbuck technique is now all around the world. How do I know that a teacher is accredited by you?
Well, they come, first of all, when someone comes to me and says, I want to be accredited, they have to go through all kinds of, first, to determine whether I think you're of the right stuff to do it. If I feel like, because I intuit the letter that initially comes to me, and I go like, does this person really have a selfless passion? Because if it's all about abusing your powers, a lot of acting teachers or teachers of any kind often abuse their power, because students, especially acting students, are very vulnerable.
They are.
And so you take advantage of that, or you can be selflessly trying to empower them. Because I find if I empower you, it empowers me. And it is a symbiotic process. But some people are all about just abuse of power. And so I feel through the words of the inquiry, is this person of the right stuff? Then I say, what is your bio? Why do you want to teach? What is it that makes you want to teach my technique? And so then I get that from them. And when I feel happy with that, then they come to LA, and it's like a 3-month course that is really intensive. It's 7 days a week, sometimes 16-hour days.
Wow.
And it's very intensive, but I need people to take what I spent years and years just through history, and just honing this technique was several years. And I gave you earlier the whole kind of evolution of the technique that's been the first book, which was a little black book, which was 22 pages. That was something like 30 years ago I wrote that.
After the intensive training that they get in LA, they come home, they go home to their countries with diplomas and certificates. How do I, because I'm a student of acting, for example, and I'm watching this conversation, and I say, how do I make sure that when I go to someone who claims to be a Chubbuck teacher, that he is indeed one?
There is a certificate for sure.
Have you come across people?
There's also on my website, there's a list of all the people with the contact information, and and so it's there in the website.
That's really very important, because this world is not perfect. I
got to tell you, how many people have tried to, this just happened in China, where someone had put up this whole thing as if it was my school.
That's what I'm trying to say.
And it was on Chinese, so the only thing I found out was Chen Zi, who is told you was bringing me to the Beijing Film Academy. She said, "Are you aware of this thing that's this thing? It's your school?" And I said, "No," but I said, so you have to translate this for me so I know what they're saying. And then I found out who was doing it, and then I had to bring it down. Within 24 hours, I had actually literally got an apology an email
Okay.
apology for that. But I have in Germany, I have 2 schools I had to shut down because they said that they were me. This happens all over the world.
How happy are you when you're told that students, actors who've gone to your classes are doing very well, are winning awards, are directing the movies? How happy are you when you're told that students, actors who've gone to your classes are doing very well, are winning awards, are directing their movies? How fulfilling is that?
It's like, that's my riches. People, you know, someone asked me the other day in a press conference. They asked me about money and making money from this. I said,
Okay, you were asked at the press conference, how rich are you?
And I said, I'm rich in my heart because of all that has helped make people, not only are people winning awards and having, having great careers where they're prospering, but they're also prospering as human beings, because
Right.
this way of working strengthens your ability to believe in yourself and have faith in that you can make your dreams come true, work hard, take chances, and faith, and faith that you can do this because you can. You can do anything.
No, but I like it. I like it, Ivana, because...
But that's my riches. I'm
Yeah,
so
that's your
rich.
wealth, yeah.
I'm the richest person on the planet.
You
because
are,
of because
yeah.
of that. But that's how I base my
know.
richness is. When I hear from Ryan that these people have like Christian, who we're going to see later, is like he came from nothing and he's getting all these like awards and is able to buy wonderful things for himself. It's like that to me makes me feel so great that I chose this to be my way to live my life.
Yeah, your purpose. And you can imagine the lives you're touching around the world. So I think this year, the label is #Discover Your Power. To me, that's powerful.
I like that.
I
I like that. Can I steal that for all my workshops?
Yeah,
Discover your power, yeah.
Ryan Carlos is #. But I want to go back to the story. I mean, just for young people who, again, are watching this show, eavesdropping on this conversation. Because Halle Berry has been very public about how you actually helped her, not just in Monsters Ball, but the way she views a lot of her life, So how was that? How was that work with Halle Berry?
Well, one of the things that I try to do is solve whatever someone's going through in their personal life in that current time within the script. So whatever we're working on, we take the things that she's struggling with in her current life, and we find a version of closure, resolution, or solving or empowerment from those issues.
And she got an Oscar.
She did. She
she
deserved it.
Yeah.
Because we worked really hard on that. And
Did you do a conversation about it after she won?
Oh, yeah, she called me.
She did?
Next day she called me up and she said, this is our award because
Wow.
she said, because it's your ideas on the screen.
Part of your riches again. But again, it was not just about Halle Berry, but it was about the first the first black woman.
Absolutely.
To win a Best Actress award from the Academy.
Let me tell you this personal story about that. One of the reasons why that's so important is because my father was a Holocaust survivor. And one of the things he wanted to do was to be able to keep that kind of thing from ever happening again, because he was a child when all that happened. He was a lawyer gave free cases for civil rights and to poor people, but mostly a civil rights thing, but free cases for that. So he died before she was the first woman of color to ever win an Oscar.
Yes.
And so I told her when she said, this is our Oscar, I said, more importantly than you saying my name up there is that my Father in heaven is looking down saying, you continued, you were part of what I've been doing my whole life. I felt like I made my father proud for the first time in my life. It was like everything to me, because that was his journey, and I was able to be a part of it through the arts.
Wow. Wow.
And making my father proud is like still to this day.
How are Filipino actors, at least the actors you've worked with, your general impressions? How are Filipino actors, at least the actors you've worked with, your general impressions?
My general impression is that there's an incredible openness.
Incredible openness.
Openness, and it's like to me, it's like sometimes we just don't have the information to understand how to like go to those really cool places. You have to be open to going there though, and you have to be someone that's willing to like kind of really look at your stuff and go, okay, that's not something I want to protect and hide and have shame from. I'm constantly saying whatever you think is the point of shame is actually the things that make you special and unique and wonderful. And so let's take the shame factor out of it. And when I start talking about my stuff and I tell people, my tragedies and stuff, which I reveal easily, people say, "Oh, you're so courageous for that." No, it feels good. It's cathartic to reveal this stuff, and it takes away the shame. So when I have the Filipino actors who, there's going to be things that have happened to them that they feel uncomfortable about because they've been told by family that this is not something you share. This is something that you keep private, and in fact, it's a point of shame for you to even consider to be something that you have. Right. And so I take that, the Filipino actors are so, I mean, I was just like surprised. I'd say, like, why don't we deal with blah, 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 and so, okay. Right. Okay, that's easy. Okay, let's go on, move it on. Let's make some magic happen.
I promise to be open. You can make me say anything. I will be an actor, and I'm ready to take an Oscar.
You take an Oscar or earn an Oscar.
An Oscar. This is just the first part of our conversation with Ivana. We will be back with some actors and some directors joining us in our conversation. Thank you very much. Emotional diary. What is this?
That depends. It'd be the answer. I needed to be an actor because.
It was my grandfather. He discouraged me. I could not be an actor.
It was my mom. The why was about freedom, to be your authentic self.
It's for my countrymen, inspiring them of who we are. That's probably what drives me to make movies.
Emotion is our friend. We're not afraid of it. We embrace it.
The Bottom Line with Boy Abunda.